If we make a list of the top 3 mysteries of our lives, I think this one should definitely be there. What is reality? Some of us pretend that we know what it is, but do we really? And those who actually want to know, who keep asking why, they always make others uncomfortable. And if you know me, you already know, I talk about nothing but uncomfortable truths. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I'll explore the 7 levels of reality, and together we'll see which level we're actually living in. So, let's get into it. We begin at the surface, the world that feels the most real, the one we wake up to every morning. It's the world of tables and trees, highways and houses, sunrise and sunset. Philosophers call this consensus reality, the version of the world that everyone more or less agrees on. It's the everyday stage where life unfolds, built from shared experiences, collective beliefs, and social agreements. We walk on the same streets, see the same clouds drift by, and stop at the same red lights. It's a universe of common sense and predictability, a kind of mutual contract that says, yes, this is real, and we all see it the same way. Through culture, language, and science, we reinforce this agreement every day. In practical terms, this level of reality is what our senses tell us is true. We measure things with rulers, weigh them on scales, and trust that gravity won't take a day off. There's comfort in this order, a quiet satisfaction that the world behaves the way we expect it to. Most people spend their entire lives here, feeling safe in the stability of the familiar. Life makes sense, and that sense brings peace. But here's the twist. Even this real world is not as solid as it seems. Neuroscientists and magicians both remind us that our senses can be fooled. The brain doesn't actually show us everything. It's more like an impatient artist that sketches in missing details to complete the picture. We see only fragments, but our mind fills in the rest to create a seamless illusion. Go one layer deeper and the world begins to shift. We're no longer just walking through the shared stage of consensus reality. We're peering through the lens of our own mind. This is the realm of perception, where reality becomes a personal construction. Here, the world you experience isn't a perfect recording of what's out there. It's an interpretation, a creative act your brain performs every second. Neuroscience tells us that perception is not passive, it's predictive. As consciousness researcher Anil Seth puts it, our experiences are controlled hallucinations, the brain's best guesses about a world it can never directly touch. Take color, for example. It feels so certain, so objective, yet it isn't a property of objects at all. It's your brain's best guess about how light and context interact. This idea echoes a much older insight from Immanuel Kant. We never see things as they truly are, the noumenon. We only ever experience phenomena, appearances filtered through our senses and mental models. The real world, in a sense, is forever out of reach. What we perceive is not the thing itself, but our brain's simulation of it. To make life livable, the mind imposes structure and continuity on chaos. Millions of sensory fragments bombard us every second. Bursts of color, flashes of sound, flickers of motion. The brain stitches all this noise into a smooth, coherent picture, a world of stable objects, solid boundaries, and flowing time. But underneath that seamless experience lies a storm of neural guesswork. Sometimes that guesswork slips. We see faces in shadows, hear our name in the hum of a crowd, or swear we left the keys right there. The mind fills in blanks to make sense of the unfamiliar. And in doing so, it reveals how fragile perception really is. Climb one level higher, and the landscape of reality changes again. We step into the realm of belief. The world shaped not by what we see, but by what we believe. Here, meaning itself becomes the foundation of reality. At this level, the physical world fades slightly into the background, and human imagination takes center stage. Much of what gives our lives structure, money, nations, laws, religion, exists only because we agree they do. Take money, for example. A piece of paper or a string of digital code has no inherent worth. Yet we treat it as valuable because we collectively believe in its power. In other words, value itself is a story we all tell and agree to keep telling. The same is true for so many of our social creations. Borders, flags, laws, languages, all emerge from shared belief. A flag is just colored cloth until a nation invests it with pride. Rights and justice have no physical form. They exist only because we imagine and uphold them together. Love, honor, morality, these are human inventions, yet they shape our world as powerfully as gravity. In this realm, reality becomes flexible, soft, negotiable, alive. One person's truth may be another's illusion. Politics, religion, and culture all operate here, built on collective stories we rarely question. What is a country? What is freedom? None of these have atoms or molecules, yet they can inspire revolutions or wars. And that's both the beauty and the danger of this level. Beyond belief lies another world, colder, sharper, yet full of wonder. This is the realm of science, where reality is examined, tested, and measured. Here, truth is not decided by faith or agreement, but by evidence. This level brings us face to face with the hidden machinery of the universe. Atoms and galaxies, DNA and quantum fields. Through science, we've split atoms, mapped the stars, and sent machines to other planets. It is the realm of models, equations, and theories that seek to explain how everything fits together. And yet, the deeper science looks, the stranger reality becomes. Take atoms. Once thought to be solid and indivisible, we now know they're almost entirely empty space. Tiny energy clouds bound by invisible forces. Electrons behave like particles and waves, existing in multiple states until observed. The famous quantum measurement problem still puzzles physicists. How does the world become definite when we look at it? Some interpretations suggest that even objective reality might be, at its core, a kind of illusion. Einstein himself once remarked, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." His theories of relativity shattered our old assumptions about space and time. They're not rigid frameworks, but flexible, bending and stretching with motion and mass. Science in its brilliance also exposes its own limits. We can describe how things behave, but not why they exist at all. As philosopher Thomas Nagel and others point out, consciousness, life, and existence itself remain unexplained. We still lack a theory of everything, a single framework that unites quantum physics with relativity. The universe, despite our equations, remains wrapped in mystery. At this level, some feel exhilarated. The vastness of the cosmos, the elegance of mathematics, the joy of discovery. Others feel adrift, small, mechanical, insignificant in an indifferent universe. Science expands our knowledge, but it can also strip away the comforting stories of earlier levels. At the fifth level, reality itself begins to feel strange. Here we step into the realm of simulation. The provocative idea that what we experience might not be real at all, but a kind of sophisticated program. Popularized by thinkers like Nick Bostrom, the simulation hypothesis suggests that our world could be akin to a video game, perhaps run by future humans, advanced AI, or alien civilizations. In this view, everything we perceive, the sun, trees, even our own thoughts, might be generated by some vast computational system. Bostrom's reasoning is simple but unsettling. If civilizations with immense computing power could simulate minds, they would likely run many such simulations. Statistically, that would mean it's far more likely we exist in one of these simulated realities than in base reality. This idea may feel familiar. Philosophers and storytellers have long toyed with it, from Plato's cave to the Gnostic demiurge to Borges's map of the empire. But now it's framed in modern technological language, Suddenly, every layer beneath, perception, belief, science, could be parameters in a cosmic program. Simulation theory inspires both awe and anxiety. On one hand, it offers explanations for the universe's fine-tuning or apparent grid-like structure. Maybe the constants of physics are lines of code. Some theorists even look for glitches, coincidences, anomalies, or events that defy explanation, as signs of the underlying system. On the other hand, realizing we could be artificial constructs shakes the very meaning of existence. If we are avatars in a simulation, do our choices matter? What if the program ends tomorrow? At this level, truth becomes slippery. Reality depends on rules external to ourselves, and certainty is elusive. The sixth level takes us beyond mind, society, and even technology, into the mystical realm, where reality itself is understood as fundamentally illusory. Many spiritual traditions describe this as Maya, the veil of illusion that obscures a deeper, ultimate truth. In Advaita Vedanta, a school of Hindu philosophy, the phenomenal world is transient and not ultimately real. As Swami Vivekananda explains, Maya is real, yet it is not real. That which is seen is unreal and has no real independent existence of itself, but is dependent upon the real for its existence. In other words, the everyday world exists, but only because it is rooted in a deeper, unchanging reality, often called Brahman or God. Buddhism echoes this view, teaching that the world is empty of inherent existence. Gnostic Christianity describes the material realm as the creation of a lesser god. Emotionally, this level is powerful and ambivalent. The recognition of illusion can be liberating, offering freedom from attachment and the ego, leading to blissful states like moksha or nirvana. Yet it can also induce cosmic loneliness or existential despair. If nothing is truly real, what is life for? The deepest happiness here comes from surrender, not clinging to illusions, but embracing the dream and awakening within it. Without that surrender, the world can feel hollow, strange, and disorienting. Finally, we arrive at the seventh and deepest level, the unknowable. Here, we confront a humbling truth, that reality itself may be ultimately beyond comprehension. No framework, not consensus, perception, belief, science, or even mystical insight can fully grasp what is. Philosophers have long warned of this limit. Immanuel Kant called it the noumenon, the reality that exists independently of our senses, and insisted it is forever out of reach, because the human mind can only know appearances. Contemporary thinkers like Nicholas Rescher echo this, pointing out that a finite mind cannot fully apprehend an infinite substance. The universe may, in principle, be unknowable. Even science encounters boundaries. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle tells us that certain properties cannot be simultaneously known. Gödel's incompleteness theorems prove that there are truths no finite system can capture. Cosmic questions: is the universe infinite or finite, deterministic or random, may lie beyond human comprehension. Symbols and paradoxes remind us some aspects of reality might never be grasped. Psychologically, this is the most challenging level. Absolute unknowability can lead to despair, nihilism, or existential vertigo. If nothing can be known for certain, if no value is intrinsic, life can feel deeply precarious. This is the saddest realization. The comforting illusions of all prior levels vanish.